without wasting much time, I'm going to be starting. So basically, a career in Defense Forces promises one of the most prestigious and respected positions in the country. And youngsters who aspire to choose a career of excitement, adventure, and challenges can find no better place than defense to meet all their professional expectations. The Indian Armed Forces are the military forces of India, which consist of three professional uniformed services: the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, and Indian Navy. The Indian Armed Force symbolizes the ideals of service, patriotism, and composite culture of the country. Recruitment to the armed forces is voluntary, open to all citizens of India, irrespective of caste, class, religion, and community, provided the laid down physical, medical, and educational criteria are met. So how can one aim to join Indian Armed Services, and what does it take to become an officer of the prestigious Indian Defense Services? To inform us more about this, we have today with us, okay, let me just share my screen. We are honored to have with us today Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Pradeep Brahmankar. I'll be just taking a minute to share my screen. All right. So it is an honor to have you over here, sir. Sir is an engineering graduate from Government College of Engineering, Pune of the 1980 batch. He's MBA from Pune University, having specialization in the field of human resources and personnel management. He joined Indian Military Academy, Dehradun in 1984 and was commissioned in the Corps of EME, that is Electronic and Mechanical Engineers, on 15 December 1984. He has served in various parts of the country, from Siachen Glacier in the north to Chennai in the south, and from Firozpur in the west to Siliguri, Darjeeling in the east. During the year 1989-90, he served in Sri Lanka as a part of the Indian peacekeeping force and was posted at Palali near Jaffna. He has also participated in Operation Vijay and Operation Trident. He has performed regimental duties in various EME units, has been a staff officer at Corps HQ in Northern Sector, and has been an instructor at Military College of EME at Secunderabad, Andhra Pradesh. He took premature retirement after completing 21 years of service in the Indian Army. Presently, he is director of Apex Careers in Pune, which has to its credit more than 500 students who have been commissioned as officers in the Indian Armed Forces. The institute trains students for NDA entrance examinations, CDS written exams, AFCAT, that is Air Force Common Admission Test, INET, Indian Navy entrance test, and SSB interviews. The institute also conducts a special 2-year course for science students for NDA preparation, known as 11-12 NDA course. So a warm welcome to you, sir, over here, and the stage is all yours. And please do guide the parents, teachers, and students who have joined here today about the careers in defense services.
Okay, I'll start with the presentation.
Yes.
Straight away. I'll be talking about the career. How can one make a career in the Indian Armed Forces, that is the Army, Navy, or the Air Force? So I will be covering this presentation in the following phases. Phase 1 I'll cover as NDA. Then phase 2 will do the other entries which are there for joining the forces after 12. Phase 3 we will take a career for graduates. Then in phase 4 we'll discuss about how the women can make a career. Phase 5 something about SSB interviews and officer like quality, that is the OLQ. Phase 6 will be pay and allowances, and phase 7 will be question and answer session round. So we move on further. The National Defense Academy, it's a tri-services organization comprising of Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force. That is, all these three wings will be there, and training is carried out for all the three wings of the Indian Armed Forces. The National Defense Academy is an iconic military academy attracting only the finest young men and women from all corners of the country. In the 7 decades of its glorious existence, National Defense Academy has grown both in grace and grandeur. From its portals have graduated the leaders of the men who have proved their worth and have demonstrated the essence of inter-services camaraderie and jointmanship. Now, as far as the entry to the National Defence Academy is concerned, we will talk about the eligibility requirements. Then when to apply, about the written examination, conduct of the UPSC exam, how can one prepare for the exams, the results for the UPSC exam, what after passing the NDA written, the intermediary steps, and the training at the National Defence Academy. So age criteria basically for entry to NDA is 16.5 to 19.5. And both boys as well as girls are eligible to apply. Here, the age of 16.5 to 19.5 is age at which the boy or the girl is supposed to join the National Defence Academy. It is not the age of application. So age of application could be 15 to 18 or 15 to 18.5. Basically, so that the preparation time or the lag time which is required, the time that is required from filling up the application form to joining the NDA is almost a year and 3 months. So that is how any boy or girl after the age of 15 who is studying in class 12 is eligible to apply. Now, eligible educational qualification for one to enter the Army, Navy and Air Force is 12. However, this 12th is at the time of joining the NDA. So one can appear for the NDA exam while studying in class 12. That is the most important thing. For joining the Army wing, one has to be 12 pass from any of the streams, that is arts, science, commerce. However, for the Navy and the Air Force, one has to have done 12 science, having had physics and maths as the subjects. Now we have these examinations on
sir,
4th
just
of
a minute.
September.
Your audio is having a little bit of disturbance.
Audio is not clear?
It is clear, but there is a lot of disturbance in the audio.
Okay. Now is it clear? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we talk about the written examination. It is on 4th of September. Those boys and girls who are now studying in class 12 are eligible to appear this examination on 4th. However, the date of application is already gone. So now if somebody has not filled up the form, he will not be able to appear for the exam. However, those who have filled the forms are eligible. And the next examination will be in month of April. I think it is on 16th of April 2023. The examination pattern would be, firstly, it's all an objective type questions. There will be 2 papers. Paper 1 will be maths paper of 2.5 hours duration with 300 marks. And it will comprise of the syllabus of 11th and 12th mathematics. So all the topics which are there for the 11th and 12th maths, they are there. Algebra, geometry, matrices and determinant, trigonometry, analytical geometry, differential and integral calculus, differential equations, vector algebra, statistics and probability. The second paper, which is the general ability test, we call it as the GAT, is again of 2.5 hours, however, has 600 marks. It comprises of 150 questions, of which 50 questions are English, whereas 200 marks are for English. So 50 per right answer, there will be 4 marks. So English 50 questions, 200 marks, general knowledge 100 questions, 400 marks. Now subjects that are covered in the general knowledge, that is part B of the paper, is physics, chemistry, general science, social studies, geography and current events. Now how to go ahead or to prepare? So as far as preparation to join the NDA, one can join institute which prepares for the NDA entrance. And the second option is prepare yourself. So how can one prepare oneself is that he or she can concentrate on 11th and 12th mathematics, then study the basic physics, chemistry, general science, social studies from 8th, 9th and 10th. And also the 12th syllabus of physics, chemistry will also help. And thirdly, as far as English paper is concerned, he or she can solve the NDA examination papers, English papers. Now, the one institute in Maharashtra which is known throughout is the Services Preparatory Institute, Aurangabad. which prepares boys for a career in the Indian Armed Forces, more specific to getting into the prestigious National Defence Academy, Khadakwasla, Pune. Next is to mold the cadets to become the good citizens of the country. Dear friends, here I would like to mention one important thing is that the SPI Aurangabad is only for the boys. The Services Preparatory Institute is an organization started by Government of Maharashtra in the year 1977 and meant only for the boys. And like last year, only the entry for the girls for NDA has started or begun. So accordingly, they are planning to have an SPI for the girls, which is most likely coming up in Nashik. Okay, I proceed further. So I'm talking here only about SPI to entry to SPI Aurangabad. So boys appearing for 10 board examination are eligible to apply for SPI. Boys should be domiciled from Maharashtra state. The same thing will be applicable for the girls as well once it comes up. The application form will be available on spiaurangabad.com, and the application should be correctly filled along with necessary amount which has been mentioned in the instructions and can be paid by debit card or credit card or can be done by net banking. So I have mentioned a point wherein please follow all the instructions given on the website while submitting the form. Likely date for submission of application form may be 15th December. This I put it as maybe. The reason is we cannot be certain because in good old days, just 2 years back before the pandemic happened, the last date used to be 15th February and the examinations used to be conducted in April. Due to pandemic, the things have changed and they are now conducting the examination in February. So that's why I mentioned it may be 15 December. It could change as well because now that the things are normal, it could change also. It will depend on the management of SPI on what are the thoughts. Presently, the last 2 years, they started the online test, which they conducted in Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, Kolhapur, Nagpur, Latur, Amravati, and Aurangabad, which was done in January, February. So that I mentioned could be for the coming year. Okay, so boys basically now studying in 10th are eligible. Results of the written test announced after the exam. Written test of math 75 marks and general ability test 75 marks. It is similar to that of the NDA except that this examination is of 150 marks only, whereas the NDA exam is 900 marks. And this examination is based on 10th board, based on the 10th state board, whereas the NDA examination based on the 11th and 12th state board /CBSE syllabus. All those who qualify the written test will undergo a personal interview and on which the final results will be announced. The training at SPI Aurangabad is for the boys admitted in SPI simultaneously admitted in one of the junior colleges in Aurangabad for the 11th science. There have been changes wherein they have been changing from last say 8-10 years. They have changed it from a government college of arts and science, then they shifted to an institute known as Stepping Stone. From there, they again shifted to PSBA, that is Padma Shri Shankar Bapu Apegaukar School. So they can continue or they may change also for the attachment of the students to 11th science. Then they prepare students for the NDA written examination, regular PT and games to ensure physical fitness of the students. And last but not the least is the SSBA interview training is being given to the cadets to clear the NDA written. The training at SPI, they train the cadets to get accustomed to the training given in NDA, both mentally as well as physically. Because of this, the cadets who pass out from SPI and are able to make it to NDA, they do exceedingly well at the NDA. Next point is, so far, more than 600 ex-cadets from this institute, that is SPI Aurangabad, have become officers in the Indian Armed Forces. Their email ID, you can note down, sanchalak.spi@gmail.com. And these are the telephone numbers and the mobile numbers. 0240-238-1370 and 721-866-8250. We proceed further and move on back to the NDA because we started with the NDA. In between, we moved aside because that's one of the best training institutes in Maharashtra state. Then there are a lot of private institutions which have opened, amongst which Apex Careers, that is my institute, we are doing exceedingly well. Till date, we have been able to send over 170 students to the National Defence Academy. The results of the NDA written examination likely to be announced just 1 month after the written examination is conducted. And these will be announced on the UPSC website, that is www.upsc.gov.in. What after passing the NDA written? The students, the boys and girls who pass the NDA written examination, they will be called for an SSB interview, and this call is likely to come out within a fortnight. So the SSB interviews schedules come up on the websites of the Indian Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Therefore, one is expected to start the preparation immediately. And this can be done by joining a reputed institute giving the SSB training. In Pune, we have almost 8 to 10 institutes giving SSB training. In Mumbai, there may be 2 or 3. In Nagpur, there are around 2 or 3. And rest of the cities may have or may not have. I'm talking only about Maharashtra at this point of time. What after qualifying the SSB? All those who qualify the Services Selection Board, that is the SSB, they will undergo a medical exam followed by the SSB interview for those who qualify the SSB. And lastly, the final merit of those who qualify will come up in the month of May/June or November/December every year. Those who get the joining instructions should join the NDA on receipt of the joining instructions. Now we come for the training at NDA. There will be 3 years of military and academic training at the National Defence Academy. On completion, these cadets will be awarded with a BA or a BSc or a BSc computers, especially the Army Wing people. The Army Wing people, on completion of the 3-year training at National Defence Academy, will be awarded BA/BSc computers. And they will further go for training at Indian Military Academy. Now, as far as the Naval cadets and the Air Force cadets, they won't be awarded any degree at the end of training at NDA. However, on completion of the training at NDA, they will proceed further to Air Force Academy or the Indian Naval Academy. On completion of the training at AFA or INA, at that point of time, they will be getting a BTech degree on completion of their 1-year training. So, Army cadets will get graduation at the end of training at NDA, whereas the Air Force and the Naval cadets get that graduation, that the BTech engineering degree on completion of 4 years of training, 3 years at NDA and 1 year at Air Force Academy / Indian Naval Academy. And all will be getting commissioned as an officer on successful completion of training at Indian Military Academy or Air Force Academy or Indian Naval Academy. So it is after joining NDA, they will become officers on completion of 4 years of training. Okay. Now, who can do it? Basically, I've just with my work and statistics that we have worked out is that a boy should be good at mathematics. He should be good in social studies. He should be good in English, and he should have a very good power of expression. There are reasons for that. This we will discuss basically when we are covering the officer-like qualities, because that is the thing where we need to look into the qualities. And somebody who has to crack the written has to have a good, he or she has to be good in maths and social studies and English as well. Now, we talk about the career in defense other than the India. I have just now covered about the National Defence Academy. Now, there are, after 12th, there is some other career as well, wherein the boys and girls can make a career. So, this career is basically only for the boys. NDA is for the boys and girls. And we also have Armed Forces Medical College, which is for the boys and girls as well. So, this is the 10+2 technical entry of the Army and Navy, wherein you get an engineering degree on completion of a 4 years training get commissioned as officers. These advertisements also appear twice a year on their websites, the respective websites of the Army and Navy. And the course commencements in January and July every year. So 2 courses a year, like NDA itself. Here, the only thing is the criteria is that the only males are eligible to apply for this 10+2 technical entry, both Army as well as Navy. And the age limit again for joining is 19.5 years max. Now, what is the qualification required to get an SSB call? Because there is no written examination here. One should have passed the 12th science examination with more than 70% marks. That is criteria 1. And the second criteria, he should have appeared for the JEE mains, and whatever merit he has got, he is supposed to mention those marks and the merit that he has got and fill the application form. The same is for the Army as well as the Navy. However, the cutoffs could be different based on the number of applicants and the number of vacancies. Training of the Army at the 10+2 technical entry scheme of the Army. Firstly, the basic military training is conducted for 1 year at Officers Training Academy, Gaya. So Gaya is in Bihar, friends, and this 1 year basic military training is conducted there, followed by a 4-year engineering training or technical training at one of these 3 institutes: College of Military Engineering, Pune, or Military College of EME, Sikandrabad, or Military College of Telecommunication Engineering, Mau. On completion of this training, they will be awarded with an engineering degree by the Jawaharlal Nehru University. The important point here is that all the students, all the boys who get selected for this course, they cannot dictate that they would like to go for CME or MCME, but it is the Army headquarters who decides as to who will go where. Okay. So therefore, of the selected lot, 1/3 go to CME, 1/3 go to MCME, and the remaining 1/3 go to MCT Mau. Now talk about the Navy, the technical entry of the 10+2 technical entry of the Navy. We call it 10+2 cadet BTech entry scheme. Here the cadet straight away moves for a 4 years BTech course at Naval Academy, Ezimala, Kerala, and get a degree from Jawaharlal Nehru University on successful completion of training. So these are a few students or a few students of ours only who made it to this prestigious 10+2 career of the Army as well as the Navy. Now, future soldier, we have this, he's a Samir Wadekar who made it to the Army, 10+2 technical entry. He joined the College of Military Engineering in Pune. Then he's Shukla. Then you have Shailendra Gowde who made it to the Navy. Then he's another student, Nikhil Ghaute, who made it to the Indian Navy 10+2. Then Omkar Bhosle and Abhishek Dhakne, who made it to the 10+2 Army. Yadav Khanuja also joined the CME, that is the 10+2 Army. Here we have a small news about the Dabbewala Banega officer and gentleman. His no dabba is more important because he used to carry tiffins for his livelihood, because he used to stay in a very small chawl in Pune, in Pimpri. However, he could make it. The basic idea behind showing all these news is that any student who is opting this career, any person from any background is able to make it. It has, the parent background has nothing to do with the selection of a candidate for the defense forces. This is the primary aim of showing this. Nigditil Don Tarun Honar Lieutenant. So Siddesh Ingre Manas Deshpande from Nigdi, that is Akurdi in Pune. We now move to the Armed Forces Medical College. I just mentioned about it. It's a medical college wherein once you get commissioned here, you are required to compulsorily serve for a minimum period of 7 years, or whatever is mentioned, maybe 10 years, or if you get a permanent commission, then a minimum of 20 years. Now, as far as the Armed Forces Medical, once you complete the degree, medical degree here, you get commissioned in any of these Army, Navy, or the Air Force. Now here the eligibilities, males as well as females are eligible, and below 22 years age is the criteria, and one should be 12 science with a physics, chemistry, and biology. A maximum of 140 candidates only are taken every year. There are no 2 batches like NDA. There's only 1 batch every year, and a maximum of 140 candidates, which includes 30 girls, will be taken. And another 5 seats are vacancies are reserved for the students of friendly countries. One important point to note here is of these 140 candidates, there are 10 seats reserved for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Other than these 10 seats, there is no other vacancy in this medical college. And I must also make a mention here that in the armed forces, other than these 10 seats which is reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in the medical, there is no other reservation in the officer category for the Indian Armed Forces. After covering this, till now I have mentioned the careers one can make after class 12. Yes, friends, I have not mentioned anything about the Jawan's careers because basically I am talking about career to become an officer. If in case there are certain people who are attending this show and would like to make a career in the Jawan, as a Jawan, we can also discuss that in short at a later stage in the question answer session round. Now I will discuss about the career for the graduates, how the graduates can become an officer by appearing for the CDS exam. So there's one exam conducted by the UPSC called the Combined Defense Services exam, wherein the boys can apply for the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. However, if the boy has to join the Navy, he needs to be an engineering graduate. So as far as girls are concerned, if she has to join the Army, this is the only exam, CDS exam, which she needs to appear. If the girl would like to join the Air Force or the Navy after graduation, there are other exams. The CDS exam, she is not eligible for the Air Force or the Navy for girls, I am specifying. So you can see wherein it is mentioned that Army, males as well as females, Air Force, males only, and Navy, males only. For the girls to join the Air Force and Navy, there are separate examinations. Now here, note very important point is final year students are also eligible to apply. Move on further. There's another exam which is known as the Indian Naval Entrance Test, wherein we have Naval Armament Inspection Cadre, Air Traffic Control, Pilot, Observer, Engineering Branch, Electrical Branch, Education Branch. I have written M/W means men as well as women, males or ladies. So the Naval Armament Inspection Cadre is generally Short Service Commission. Like Education Branch, if it's for the males, it's a permanent commission. This has been taken out from one of the advertisements. However, at different points of time, there will be different requirements, and you need to watch out as to whether it is the permanent commission or the short service commission as well. Now we talk about the FCAT, Air Force Common Admission Test. We have two branches in the Air Force. One is the flying branch and one is the ground duties branch. The flying branch means it is basically all the pilots who are either the fighter pilots or the pilots for the transport duties or the helicopter pilots. For this, one needs to be a graduate with over 60% marks throughout. Therefore, it's mentioned aggregate 60% with physics and maths at 10+2. So in the flying branch, if somebody has joined after diploma, he may not be eligible because he will not have had physics and maths at 10+2. Ground duties, technical, non-technical, we have two branches, sub-branches again. Technical is only for the engineering graduates. And here also the requirement would be throughout, one has to have an aggregate of 60%. Another important point, along with the FCAT, that is Air Force Common Admission Test, the boys and girls who are interested to join the technical branch are also supposed to give the EKT, that is known as the Engineering Knowledge Test. It's another test which is simultaneously conducted on the same day on which the FCAT is conducted. And after you finish the FCAT test, you are supposed to give this test. For the non-technical, only the FCAT is eligible, and it could be in administration or accounts or education branches. Friends, we now come for the women entries during and after graduation. Here you can see a few pictures. The left picture is the lady officers in the Indian Army uniform. The right picture is in the Air Force. Down below left is again the Air Force, men as well as women. And extreme right, down right is the naval officers, women Navy officers. Lady officers from Pune got commissioned in March 2006. This was a batch out of which two girl students of mine were selected as officers in the Indian Armed Forces, in the Indian Army. So when they got commissioned, we felicitated them, and along with them, the two other officers who are also from Pune. So we felicitated all the four women lady officers who joined the army and got commissioned in March 2006. Now, what are the various modes of entry in the army for the women? There are four entries. First is the NCC entry. The age limit is 25 and the minimum marks required during graduation is 50%. So more than 50% is required. Technical entry, there is a relaxed age for technical entry and law entry, that is the JAG entry. 2 years extension is there, 27 is the age limit. For technical entry, only engineering graduates, and for the JAG entry, only the law graduates are eligible. Now, CDS exam we mentioned some time back and we discussed about it. This is for the girls to join the army. Age limit is 25 and they need to be graduate from any stream. So an engineering graduate can also apply for the CDS, whereas an arts graduate can also apply for the CDS. All right. Now, entries for the Navy, we have the air traffic control. This is only for the women. Aviation cadre, IT, logistics, naval armament inspection cadre. You can see that most of the entries are mainly for the girls who have done engineering. There is one entry wherein a normal MBA or a normal degree, I would say BSc, BCom with an MBA is required, of course, or the MC or MSc IT are also eligible. However, in the most of the naval entries, the engineering graduation is required. And one has to qualify the INET exam. Now we talk about the Air Force entries. We just mentioned flying, technical and non-technical, the ground duties. Technical is also the ground duties, however we call it ground duties technical. One of the important requirements for flying branch is the requirement of height, which is 5 feet and 4 inches and above. So, and the age criteria is 24. So graduates with below 24 years of age, having height of more than 5 feet 4 inches, and their educational qualification could be graduate from any stream. However, with physics and maths at 10+2, means they should have done 11th and 12th with science stream, having physics and maths. Only then they can fly. All right. Rest we can see technical branch engineering students only 60%, ground duties, graduates from any stream, or postgraduates or LLBs or MA. Everywhere the age limit is 26 other than the flying. Here are a few of successful lady officers who joined the Indian Army. Anuja Varudkar, she's an engineering graduate from Pune, Corps of Engineers. She joined OTA 2005 and commissioned in March 2006. In 2005, it used to be only 6 months of training for the army and then they used to get commissioned. Now, last 7, 8 years, 10 years, they have changed it from 5 years short service commission to 10-year short service commission. And secondly, the training has also increased from 6 months to 1 year. So presently, those girls who make it to the Indian Army are also supposed to undergo a training of 1 year at Officer Training Academy, Chennai. We have Vidul Dabade, Commerce graduate, commissioned in September 2007. This is the news of theirs which had come in the newspapers. We proceed further. Gauri Chavan from Ichal Karanji. First time she stepped out of the house alone and come to Pune for the training, and she made it. And important news is that she also has got a permanent commission. She is from the Corps of Engineers. She got commissioned in September 2011. Here you can see that the training is 1 year, joined OTA in October 2010, commissioned in September 2011. So it's more than 10 years now that the training period has increased from 6 months to 1 year. Then we have Manasi Gajendra Gadkar, who was a radio jockey with 98.3 Radio Mirchi. She also made it. She got commissioned in March 2012. You can see the news, radio jockey Manasi Honar, lieutenant, and this is Ichal Karanji girl making it Gauri Sawan. Next, we have Priyanka Bansod from Pune, BENTC, and Sita Shevke from Gadilgaon, Ahmednagar. Gadilgaon is a very small village. Okay, again, the idea, prime idea of showing you this small little slides is for everyone to understand that boys and girls from any part of the country and whatever be the background, whether they are farmers' children, the auto rickshaw drivers' children, whether they're businessmen's children, or whether they're doctors' children, they can easily make it to the armed forces. So this is the news of theirs. Here I would also like to mention that I have a number of students who are doctors' children who have joined the Army and the Navy and the Air Force. One of the students, Shreyas Nitwe, had joined the NDA from Sangli. His parents, both mother and father, are doctors. They are having a big hospital in Sangli. And Shreyas Nitwe, however, joined the armed forces. We have another student from Pune, Chaitanya Modak, whose father is an orthopedic surgeon here in Pune, practices here in Tilak Road, and mother is an ophthalmologist. And this student of mine is a fighter pilot in the Indian Armed Forces. So I wanted to make a mention here that the doctor's children can also make a career in this particular field. However, the important thing is that they should have a passion about this particular career. Okay. So we now proceed further. Rani Lakshmibai Mulinchi Sainiki Shala Maitreyi Dandekar. This girl is from again from a small village. Her father is a social worker and having a number of schools and colleges there in Dapoli. Raja Dandekar's daughter, Maitreyi Dandekar from Chikhalgaon. Next, we have Sneha Sakpal. She joined the army through the NCC entry. Okay, there are just 3 or 4 vacancies in the NCC entry, out of which she was able to make it. So these are the news, concerned news. Then Sonia Nevaskar, an arts graduate. Now here I would like to again bring a different point. This girl Sonia was preparing herself for the IAS cadre, so civil services examination, and she happened to appear for the CDS exam, and she cleared the CDS exam. That's how she joined us for the SSB, and she cleared the SSB and she became an army officer. Now, really speaking, at the point of time when she was preparing for the civil services, but happened to appear this exam and clearing, what happens is many boys and girls who are preparing themselves for the civil services, they never think of any other opportunity. A person who is preparing for the civil services exam should also think of the parallel opportunities available and certainly can apply at various other entries where they can easily qualify the exam. So this is the point which I want to make a mention of. Now we have Annapurna Bothate, who is an India rugby player, a commerce graduate, got commissioned in March 2018. Again, an army entrant. So rugby kadun Ranbhumi kade and Punechi Sonia Navaskar, lieutenant. So these are the related news. Now these 2 girls, lady naval officers, Niyati Hirve and Radhika Dange. Niyati Hirve all the way came from Indore for training here for SSB to Pune. We trained her, she got selected, and she joined the ATC branch of the Indian Navy. And Radhika Dange from Mumbai, she joined the education branch. Both are retired from the Navy after putting in 10 years of service. And Niyati Hirve is working in a financial company in Bangalore now. This is the news that was covered in the year 2011 June about the selections. Then we have the Air Force girls joining the Air Force. Vaishnavi Tokekar, having done just the Bachelor of Arts and serving with the air traffic control in Pune, in the Air Force. Nidhi Seta from Gadchiroli. She did a BE Power Engineering as serving as a technical officer in the technical branch of the Indian Air Force. So she had to clear the AFCAT and the EKT and the SSB later on. So Gadchirolichi Nidhi Seta Bannar Havai Dala flying officer. Now you see there is a scope for even commerce graduates, you can see in the Air Force. Shravani Bhargav, so she joined the ground duties accounts branch and she's the latest entry, January 2021 entry. Aditi Katare also made it in September 2021. Aditi Katare is in the technical branch, having done her engineering graduation. So this is the news. This was our first batch of girls for the NDA written in August 2021. Now talk something about the SSB interviews. Stage 1. Whenever a boy or a girl qualifies the written test, whichever he or she appears, and then is called for the SSB interviews, what happens with the SSB interviews? SSB interviews are conducted at nodal centers, specific SSB centers. For the army, we have a Bangalore, we have Allahabad, we have Bhopal, we have Kapurthala. For the Navy, we have Bangalore, we have Bhopal, then we have Coimbatore, we have Kolkata. I think, yeah, these are the centers for the Navy. Then for the Air Force, we have Bangalore, then we have Varanasi, we have Mysore, we have Dehradun. So these are the SSB centers. Wherever you are called for the SSB interview, you will go and appear for the SSB interview, which comprises of 2 stages. The stage 1 is basically the preliminary screening, like a campus selection, which happens, you have the screening wherein a small aptitude test is conducted, and based on the aptitude test, only a few candidates are interviewed by the respective companies. Similarly, once you go for the SSB, there on the first day, they conduct an intelligence test and a picture perception discussion test. Based on the performance in this test, on the first day itself, only 50% of the boys and girls may be qualified for the next stage, or the next round. And the students who do not qualify the stage 1 are sent home on the very first day. Okay. The stage 2 comprises the psychological test, the GTO test, the interview, and the conference. In the stage 2, the first day you have you see the first day when somebody reports to the SSB center is the stage 1. On qualifying the stage 1, so that is the stage 2 first day, or you call it actually the second day of the SSB. You have the psychological test. The third and the fourth day, you have the GTO test. And the interview will be done on any of the second, third, or the fourth day. On the 5th day, there is a conference wherein a panel of 10, 12, 15 officers are sitting on the round table, and the candidate enters in the hall, and a few nominal questions are asked about his stay, about the suggestions he wants to make, so on and so forth. And after that, he is left. And after this conference is done, of all the candidates who are there for stage 2 of the SSB, the results are announced in a hall wherein all the students or the SSB candidates are sitting in a room wherein the results are announced. So you can say that this is one of the only selection processes in the country giving you the results there and then itself. So even you see in the corporates, they do not give the entire results at that point of time. Even the stage 1 kind of things which they conduct in the colleges, after going back to the organization, then most of them send the lists. Here, everything is safe, everything is clear, everything is transparent. Right, friends? Now, these are the important points which I would like to now mention about the qualities that are required to become an officer. Now, these are the qualities which yes, the officers or the assessing officers are looking forward to in while qualifying the candidates. Now, first point is the communication skills. I have made a mention who can make it, wherein I have said that power of expression is one of the things. So here I would like to say communication skills comprise of power of expression, that is speaking skills. You also need to have written skills, and third, you should also have the listening skills. The listening skills is separately mentioned here. Unless and until you have all the three skills, the reading, the writing skills, the verbal communication skills, so speaking skills, and the listening skills, you cannot make it to an officer. Next point is patriotism and the passion to join defense. Yes, patriotism, I personally feel that we all of us have. Because all of us are doing something for the country, whether you are an engineer, whether you are a doctor, whatever profession you might be doing, you are definitely a patriot, even if you are a leader and serving some political party. So we are all patriots. But next point which goes along with patriotism is the passion to join defense. So one needs to have a passion to join the defense along with patriotism. The next 2 points I would make a mention of is the physical fitness and the mental fitness. Yes, friends, you have to undergo a lot of physical activities during the training. So we call it the military training, but a lot of physical activities are there. So in order to complete those activities in time, one has to be physically fit. However, if you ask me about appearing for the SSB, is physical fitness a very important issue? I would say answer is yes as well as no. Because this physical fitness, one can become physically fit over a period of time as well. Because a candidate, when he appears for the SSB, his physical fitness will depend on how much fitness activities he has been doing at home or while studying for class 10th, 11th and 12th. However, more important than the physical fitness, according to me, is the mental fitness. Because if a candidate is mentally fit and has a lot of determination in him, I am sure physical fitness will not be a barrier, even though he may not be physically fit at the point of joining the academy, because the academies are there to train the cadets and make them physically fit. Hope this point is very clear. We move on to the next point, that is motivational ability. Now this, I would make it in two parts. First is the inner motivation, and the second is the motivation to ability to motivate others. So inner motivation is one, and the ability to activate or motivate men is another quality. So this both are important. So your inner motivation can only make you a good officer or make you an officer. And for effectively commanding your unit or commanding your men, you need to have the quality to motivate people. Because when you go on a war, you should be able to motivate your men to lead, to proceed, to take on the bullets. So that quality is very, very important. The next point is the determination. Yes, there is no harm in trying second time, third time, fourth time, in case you really have certain other qualities. Because if you are determined to make it, yes, you can certainly make it. The only thing is, yes, if you have not made it in the first attempt, you need to analyze yourself as to where you have gone wrong. Work on those points and then try to make it. Further proceed for other qualities. Sports. Yes, sports could be very helpful, but does not mean that if you're not good in sports, you will not get selected. You can still get selected. But in the defense, especially the army, sports is a part of the activities Morning, everyday PT is there, evening sports is there, wherein the troops play basketball, volleyball, football, hockey, and all that. And if you are a good sportsman, then certainly when you are playing with the troops, you can certainly command them better. That's why the sports is very, very helpful. Logical reasoning, friends, you need to have this is basically use of common sense, logical reasoning. You should be able to analyze things. Team person, in order to work or get work done, you need to be a team person, because you need to work in teams in the forces, and you also need to get work out of your team. Next point is the organizing and planning ability, wherein if a task is given at any point of time, within no time frame, you should be able to organize the event. Because in the forces, activities happen in such a way that one has to organize things in a very short span of time. Next point is extrovert. Being extrovert is always helpful because you can mix up with people, you need to be a team person. That's the same as being extrovert. Introvert, what happens is if in case somebody is introvert, he doesn't want to mix, how can he command his men if he is not knowing his own men? So being introvert generally doesn't help, but does not mean that introvert people cannot get selected. They can also get selected. However, they need to understand that this is one of the qualities that they lag in, or they are not having it, so that they can work on it. Next point is common sense and presence of mind. So common sense is required everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. Same thing about the presence of mind, because you may see things, but you may not able to analyze or grasp or give a solution. Basically, what happens is in being an officer, you need to give decisions, and you need to make decisions, and the spontaneity is very important. The use of common sense is important. All right. Now the next point is inquisitiveness to get into details. Yes, what happens is many a times we try to neglect things which we don't know. We say, chhod do, jane do, that kind of a thing. That kind of an attitude is not helpful. Because you need, in case you do not know, today there are a lot of search engines are available. You need to get into that. You need to find out and understand things and know things. And last but not the least, we have general awareness, wherein we need to know and understand the things that are happening around you, that is in your own city, in your state, in your country, as well as outside. One important point which can come up: are there any opportunities for higher education once a candidate joins the forces? Yes, we have facility and vacancies in reputed IITs and NITs for doing MTech, wherein the officers, if they are BTech, they are nominated. Next is also there's a certificate course in management, which is 6-month executive management course. And while before you retire, you can do this course, and with this one can enter into the corporate world with a good package. Basically, you also have study leave facility, wherein 2 years you can have your own salary and plus improve your educational qualifications by studying in reputed organizations and do your MTech or MBA or PhD or any post graduation for that matter. Now we come to the next stage of pay and emoluments and facilities available in the armed forces. The CTC for a lieutenant in the army, or a sub-lieutenant in the navy, or the flying officer in the Air Force, approximately 1 lakh per month. As a matter of fact, the flying officer today is getting more than 1.25. So this is a kind of pay structure. Here you start off, and you can reach, as of date, you can reach to the level of 2.5 lakhs. A colonel with around say 16-17 years of service should easily be getting 2 lakh plus. All right. In addition, a number of Pay and allowances are there, like transport allowance, outfit allowance, flying allowance, and so on and so forth. Then you also have facilities like free rations, CSD canteen, furnished accommodations at nominal rates, officers mess clubs, state-of-the-art medical facilities, retirement benefits, sports and adventure. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the retirement benefits today are there only in the Indian Armed Forces, and at no other place you have these retirement benefits. However, it is only for those who serve for a particular, I'm talking about the officer cadre who serve for a minimum period of 20 years. Now, presently, the government has ensured, I think, a long time back, that now there are no pensions in any of the government organizations except for the armed forces. We have the various sports and adventure activities. We have billiards, we have squash, tennis, badminton, polo, horse riding, parasailing, hang gliding, rowing, sailing, trekking, mountaineering, skiing, and golf. You name a sport and it will be there in the forces. So these are our contact numbers. You may like to note it down. 9850 88 0058 and 9028 22 1458. I have finished my presentation, friends, and we can now move on to the question and answer session. So,
thank you, sir. Thank you for that elaborate presentation. And I think it has made things very, very clear. If you could just switch off your presentation, we can just see if somebody is raising hands. Yes. So whoever is participating, you can either ask a question in the chat box or you can raise your hand and I'll invite you for asking your question. There is one question in the chat box that to get in AFMC, qualifying NEET is necessary?
Yes, yes, yes. The NEET is the only exam, qualifying exam for the AFMC. Now, all those who are interested in joining the Armed Forces Medical College, they are supposed to give the NEET. And while filling this form, NEET form, they are also supposed to mark one of the questions would pop up as to whether they would be keen for the AFMC. They are supposed to say yes there. And simultaneously, they are supposed to fill the AFMC form as well. So the qualification, the qualifying marks will be those marks which they secure for the NEET. All right.
Okay. There's another question. I think it is a repetition of what you've already said, but somebody's asked again, what is the age limit? Could you please once again put forward the age limit?
Age limit for which exam?
For entrance into the NDA, I mean, maybe all three exams if you can, because they have not specified.
Okay. All those students interested to know about the ages, 19.5 is the age limit for joining the NDA. For joining the 10+2 technical entry of the Army, again 19.5 is the age limit. For joining the 10+2 cadet BTech entry scheme of the Indian Navy, that is engineering in the Navy, age limit is again 19.5. For joining the Armed Forces Medical College, it is 22. For the graduation entries, for the CDS exam, the age limit is 25. Again, in the CDS, if somebody is going for the Air Force, the age limit is 24. For IMA CDS, it is 24. For Officer Training Academy, it is 25 because there are different entries at different points of time. For the Air Force, the age limit is 24 for flying. For ground duties, the age limit is 26. For Navy INET exam, generally the age limit is 25. So I think I've covered about the age limits of almost all the courses here.
Yes, a student has asked me, you've already answered this question in your talk, you've already covered it, but can an art student apply for Army?
Pardon? Yeah.
Art student.
Yes, very much. I made a mention of the girl, Sonia Nevaskar. She did her BA and I mentioned her story also. an art student, a commerce student, a science student, a BBA, BCA, BCS, any graduate can apply for the army.
For the
And
Indian Air Force and Indian Navy science stream.
yeah. They can
Yes.
apply provided they are, you see, in the Air Force, the commerce graduates can apply in the accounts field, accounts branch. So we call it the ground duties branch only. So whenever these applications, when the advertise comes on the website, one can go through the requirements of the eligibility, and things are very clear which all degrees or qualifications are eligible for which all entries. But yes, BA, very much one can join the Indian Army.
Right. Sir, there is one question on the YouTube live. You've already answered that question as well, but that student is saying that she has only last attempt left, so she wants to know something more about SSB.
Okay. I would suggest, because whatever I wanted to cover, I have covered. She can call me up. That will be better, because there are a number of things in SSB. We have a 1 month training for that.
Okay.
So on this, it is very difficult to explain the entire SSB procedure or the process. And basically what happens is, if this is the last chance, and she would have gone and appeared, and she would have either got screened out or she would have got conferenced out. So one needs to analyze where she has gone wrong and work towards meeting those requirements. So an ideal thing would be that the candidate should call me up, should meet me here in Pune. That is what I would recommend.
So Manisha, if you are listening to this, sir has already put up his numbers previously, so you can contact Apex Careers and you can talk to him directly over there, and definitely you will be helped out. So are there any more questions? Anybody wishes to ask question, then you can either put it on the chat box or you can raise your hand and I'll take it up for you. Okay, so I think career in defense is something, yes, many look upon to. I mean, everybody feels proud of people who joins, the defense services, Indian Armed Services. But when it comes to joining for oneself, I think there are still lots of reservations and people need to come forward for that. Sir, can you give a little bit of idea about, the Agnipath scheme, which the Prime Minister has just introduced, so that students can know about that?
Okay. Now, this is basically a career for becoming a Jawan, wherein a boy can join the army or the navy or the air force, and the initial service will be only for a period of 4 years. Now, as far as you see, I will just compare it with the previous system of joining the forces, wherein the minimum period used to be 15 years for a candidate once he joins the forces, unless and until the candidate gets boarded out. So as far as this Jawan category is concerned, the minimum period is to be 15 years. And suppose that JSU Jawan gets promotion at regular intervals and comes up in the ladder of promotions, then in that scenario, that JSU cannot come out after 15 or 18 years. Because he gets the promotions, he goes ahead. So for every rank and age, there will be different ages of retirement. Now, this concept of Agnivir, you see, one has to understand that the government has a lot of burden of the pensions of various of the armed forces, I will say, because of all the other services of government, they have stopped giving pension. So one gets a salary throughout his service tenure, and once the person retires, he is not entitled to any pension in any of the government services other than the Indian Armed Forces, right? So now the Indian Armed Forces is only the place where one can earn pension throughout his life. Okay, now the next point is, first I will discuss something about the officers as well. You see, we had around 250 vacancies for the IMA, Indian Military Academy entry of the CDS, which they have brought down to 100, and they are further might bring it down to 50, and they have increased. We say around 10 years back, we had vacancies of say around 175 for the officers to get commissioned for short service. So short service is a commission for an officer, wherein an officer can serve for a minimum period of 10 years, and then he goes out of the army. And he is not entitled to any pension, right? However, if somebody is keen to get a permanent commission, he has to apply, and amongst the applicants, only 50% of the officers who apply will generally get a permanent commission. And all those get permanent commission on completion of necessary requirement of service, they will earn pension. All right. So like the short service commission, which is there for the officers of the Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force, there was nothing for the Jawans. So this is the place wherein now we have, like I said about the short service commission of the officers, it is a short service for the Jawan category, wherein out of the men, out of the boys who get enrolled as Jawans, only 25% of the Jawans who will be interested to stay, only they will be retained. And 75% of these Jawans will come out of the forces. Now, therefore, it goes to say that only 25% of these men who can stay on completion of 4 years, they will be retained by the forces, and once they complete their minimum period of service and they retire, they will be entitled pension. Right? One also has to understand the requirement of the forces is not going to come down. That will remain the same. So every year and every 6 months or continuously, there would be an enrollment going on, and 25% of the men who are good enough will always be retained. So the pension, generally what the people are thinking, it is not that the government is entirely getting out of the pension load. The pension load will be continuing. However, it will get reduced by a few numbers, firstly, and secondly, only those who are keen to continue and only those who are fit enough will be retained, and those whose commanding officers deem fit that they continue the services will be retained. That is what is all about the Agnipath scheme for the Agniveers.
So thank you so much. I think this must have answered a few questions which are there in everybody's minds regarding this particular scheme. And there is one last question which I'm seeing on my screen for NDA written examination. Last how many months current affairs are sufficient?
Oh, current affairs last, you can say the paper is generally set 2 months in advance. So one can say that around 4 months previous knowledge on the current events to 2 months. However, for the SSB, the last 1 month current affairs is required. So one can say a maximum of 6 months current affairs is more than sufficient.
Great. So I think really on behalf of our Teen Talk series, I cannot thank Lieutenant Colonel Pradeep Brahmankar sir enough for taking up this session on career in defense services, and you have been really, really elaborate, and you have answered all the questions so patiently, and you have given all the relevant information regarding the same. And on behalf of our Mission Pink Health and Teen Talk, I am really honored to present to you. Just give me a minute to bring back my screen. I am sharing my screen. Yes. So we present the certificate of gratitude to you for giving your expert advice and guidance during this career guidance webinar on career in defense services for students, parents and teachers organized by MPHIM Maharashtra State today on Sunday, 26 June 22 under Teen Talk series. Thank you so much, sir. You have been really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
To all the students, the next session that we will be taking up on the Teen Talk series will be career in medicine. And this we plan to take up on 10th of July. So do stay back with us for career in medicine. And I'm sure that we'll be bringing up something good for you. The session will be running on Zoom as well as live on YouTube. The name of the YouTube channel is Teen Talk, TENTALK. And if you want to have any session regarding any issues pertaining to adolescent health, parenting, or on any careers, do write to us on write to WRITE numerical 2 Teen Talk TENTALK @gmail.com, or write to us on 9819018000, and we will be surely taking it up for you. So thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Pradeep Brahmankar sir, for that elaborate session. Thank you everyone who's joined us today on Zoom as well as on
Thank
YouTube.
you, Dr.
Until we
Archana.
meet next on 10th of July, goodbye to all of you. Thank you so much.